Hi there, welcome to my channel. I am recording my first class. The idea is to have different types of content in the channel. So I have sketchbooks, challenges, art blogs. Now we're going to have classes as well. This class is going to be about Pieter Bruegel. We are going to analyze the painting Hunters in the Snow. The structure of the class is I start with an explanation, like an analysis of the painting, and then I show you some references that I find interesting. I use, for example, the same materials that we're going to use in the exercises, or that have a type of representation that I find interesting for the exercise. And then we jump into the exercises. I give you the details of what we are going to do, and I will draw along with you step by step. And yeah, that's it. Let's get started. Hunters in the Snow is a 1565 painting by the Flemish Renaissance artist Pieter Bruegel the Elder. The painting portrays a group of hunters returning to the village with their dogs, and unfortunately they only bring one fox, so this is a representation of the winter hardships that we're going to talk next. So the scene is characterized by muted colors and vast snow-covered landscapes, filled with detailed depictions of daily life, such as villagers ice skating, tending fires, and engaging in different activities. Bruegel's masterful use of perspective draws the eye from the foreground, where the hunters are, to the distant icy mountains, creating a sense of depth and atmosphere. The work is celebrated for its intricate details, realistic portrayal of winter hardships, as I mentioned before, and its melancholic yet tranquil mood, making it one of the most iconic landscape paintings of the Northern Renaissance. Now let's jump into the analysis. In terms of colors, he uses mostly cold colors, but he uses warm colors in the buildings and some of the dogs. Speaking about dogs, there is one dog looking at the viewer, like us, looking at the painting. At the bottom left-hand side, if you look at the dogs, there is one that is looking at us. And speaking also about cold colors, if you notice the same color that he uses in the sky, he uses to paint the rivers and the clouds. Then we have subtle changes in tones, especially in the trees. If you pay attention, the trees that are closer to us are black, and the ones that are really far away, they are more muted and grey. And then the hunting group creates eye contrast with the snow, because the snow is completely white and the figures are very dark, creating a stark contrast. In terms of perspective, the painting is divided into 3 sections with diagonals, as you see in this image. And the diagonals divide the painting into the foreground, where the hunters are. Then we have the valley with people ice skating, houses, trees, and then we have the third section, that is the sky. Then we have recession, that is the figures reduce quickly. The more distant they are, the more small they are. In the exercise you will notice that basically the ones that are really far away are just dots almost, or small dashes in the landscape. In terms of references, I brought you 3 different drawings. The first one is by Paul Mollerson Becker. This is the same style that is intended to have on our first exercise. So quick lines, just basic shapes to help us understand the composition. Then we have Winter Landscape by Hugo Steiner Prague. I really like this painting, or this drawing. If you notice, the sky is just a bar at the top of the painting, and has a foreground and a background as well. Eye contrast between the trees that are in the foreground and the snow. And then we have River Landscape by William Morris Hunt, and as we're going to use charcoal, I thought that this would be a good reference, and we have some trees as well. On the left hand side of this drawing, if you notice, the trees are represented quite an abstract way because they merge with each other, and that is going to happen as well when we're going to draw, when we're drawing the painting by Bruegel. We'll also have this type of abstract representation. Right, now we are going to start making our exercises. We have 4 exercises. We'll start with a thumbnail sketch, just lines, graphite pencil, 5 minutes, really quick sketch. And then we have a tonal drawing, just tones. You can use charcoal. Divided into 3 tones, really black one, grey, and the white of the sheet of paper. Also an exercise of 5 minutes. Then we will explore mark making with charcoal, 3 minutes, very quick. The idea is for you to apply different levels of pressure on the charcoal, making fast and slow marks, smudge with your finger, so to create different textures. Then on the last exercise it will take 15 minutes and we will basically reinterpret the painting using charcoal on a A3 sheet of paper, and you can start by making a quick draft as we did in the as we do in the first exercise, and then use charcoal, creating tones, different tones and different types of mark making to create our landscape. Let's do it. So I'm using an A5 sheet of paper and a graphite pencil. We start by drawing a frame. Then remember the diagonal lines in the drawing. We'll start by dividing the sheet of paper with those 3 sections. Then we can start drawing the trees that are near to us. You don't need to get into many details in the trees here because this drawing is just for us to understand the composition, where things are overall. I'm already committing a mistake here because there is more space in here rather than what I'm drawing, so I'm going to erase this figure and make it smaller. Careful with it. Human figure is always tricky to draw, so I was getting into much detail in the beginning and now I just have 2 minutes, so I have to be quicker. It's a really quick drawing. Yeah, this landscape, this area is quite complex. It has small rivers and so there's a small ponds actually, is a church over here. Village, another village in the distance here. Can draw the bird. Last 30 seconds. Alright. Here we have our drawing. Here we have our quick drawing. Okay, now we have another A5 sheet of paper, and we are going to draw the second exercise. I'm using willow charcoal, and yeah, let's do it. Drawing the tails of the dogs help us convince the viewer that these abstract shapes are actually dogs or some kind of animal. Trying to make the legs as well a little bit. Well, it will look abstract anyway. Remember the three tones, the really black tone, the gray one that you can smudge with your finger, and then the white of the snow. Placing the people randomly is just for us to have an idea. I have 2 minutes left. The sky is that blue-gray that I mentioned. That is the same tone color of the river and the ponds. I have roughly 40 seconds left. Ten seconds. And that's it. That's our 5-minute tonal drawing. Perhaps I should have suggested a little bit longer, because it takes time. It's a very, very complex composition. Should have worked more on this area, because this area is okay, the foreground is okay, but the valley is not that well. Should have add more details perhaps, so I'll pay attention to that in our next drawing and our first drawing here. On this exercise we will use a piece of willow charcoal and we are going to make several types of mark making. For example, like this, or like this, because it is going to be useful in our more developed drawing, because we will have to apply different types of mark making in order to create different types of effects on the trees, for example. So this is a useful exercise. Hold the piece of charcoal in different ways, like this, and apply different levels of pressure on the charcoal in order to make more faded or more present marks. Okay, now that we have practiced different textures and types of mark making, we are going to move to our more developed drawing. Here's an A3 sheet of paper. We're going to draw. We will have more space for the details that are in this area rather than in this very small size, so A3 sheet of paper is better. So now we will basically do what we did in our first exercise. Quick draft. Feels like their legs are really small. Their feet are on the snow. So 10 minutes flew by and I've just drawn this. I think I have to hurry up a little bit. It's okay if the drawing looks like more abstract and ambiguous like this one, because it's a really complex drawing and it's for us to have fun and don't get too caught up into details. even though this painting has lots of details. But the time that we have to adjust our style and our approach to the drawing. It's challenging as well, right? I'm going to start using charcoal now. I already have the draft foreground, the valley and the sky. So let's start adding some tone and some details as well. Remember the dog that I said that is looking to the viewer is the one that is in this position. Something that can be helpful for you is to zoom in and look at the details, because if you always have the drawing zoomed out, then it's going to be very hard to see all these details, these trees. I just did it and I think my drawing is getting a little bit better with these trees in the distance. Use different types of mark making, like this, to create different marks in the paper. Remember the small people that I mentioned? In this scale, they are just these points and dashes. Remember the different types of mark making that we practiced. They're useful here as well. I still have 10 minutes left. Now I'm going to use this type of rubber to erase some areas and redefine these borders, as you can see. So I'm going to work on the final details on the last 10 minutes. Finding the last details. This is last 45 seconds. That's it. Our class has come to an end. I hope that you had enjoyed it. If so, click the button below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, if you enjoyed it, if you struggled, if you have suggestions for future classes. And if you want to keep watching my content, there's a playlist, videos, and consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much and see you in the next video.